this is a political museum, of course, showing especially the German history of both world wars. Both were organized in Berlin. And my grandfather, Ernst Friedrich, who founded this museum 1925, wanted to show the reality of war, and in the time in which he lived here in Berlin, war and militarism was still glorified, even in school books, as if people hadn't learned out of the disastrous First World War, where many civilians had been killed. So Friedrich had a museum founded showing documents about seriously injured civilians and soldiers, and he even published a book about the First World War, which has become the so-called Bible of the pacifists, where he showed the injured soldiers, which he got from Charité, the main hospital here in Berlin, founded by Sauerbruch, a professor who gave him the photos, so that Friedrich was able to publish things about warfare. Of course, his intention was that wars had to be stopped and political conflicts had to be solved by negotiations and not by dropping bombs. So the Anti-War Museum was then, in the 1930s, an institution against Hitler, against the Nazis. So it didn't take long when Hitler came to power. Only 4 weeks later, the Anti-War Museum was stormed by Nazi brown shirts. That was Hitler's private army. And unfortunately, the House of Peace was then changed into a house of torturing. Friedrich's family then had to leave Germany.
It's a recreation of an original bunker.
No, it was used as an air raid shelter. It is an original, and that can be seen by the white painted walls. Hitler gave the order that the walls down there had to be painted white so that you could find your way in darkness, because electricity had broken down because of the bombing of Berlin, which mostly took place in 1944, 1945, and people were able to save their lives if they went down into a shelter room like this. Every person living here in this house had to take down his or her own kitchen chair and then had to sit down on it. That was controlled. The Germans were always very good in controlling.
Yes.
So that was a way of overliving, although some people also died in their air raid shelters because they didn't have enough oxygen.
Suffocated.
And the warfare meant towns were burned down and you didn't have enough oxygen in your shelter rooms.
Right. It's a great initiative. It's a very powerful message, and the message of this entire World Museum is peace.
Exactly. You want people to be educated in a way that they will find that their neighbors, even if they have a different religion or belong to another political system or come from another continent, that they find together, we only have this one planet. I very much like to take out my wallet and open it up, and there I can find a coin which I call a coin of peace. It's called euro. And with this coin of peace, I can pay in Italy and in France and in Spain, maybe in Poland soon too. And if we have commercial trading, and if we pay with the same money, we won't shoot at each other anymore. And if you look at the history of Europe, there were hundreds of wars between all countries here. You can't count them anymore. And now here in Europe, we have overlived an age of over 70 years of peace. And that's new for Europe. So Europe could be the continent, become a continent of peace in order to influence other continents that they should stop raising up weapons and atom bombs more and more, because we don't believe that life on Earth will become more peaceful if more and more countries have atom bombs.
Definitely.
I believe Pakistan has atom bombs too now,
Yes,
and
yes.
North Korea.
Since 98.
Yes,
Yes.
and Israel won't admit that they have atom bombs. So it would be a wonderful situation for us if we could get rid of these atom bombs first, and then learn on schools and at universities how to live in peace and how to solve conflicts without weapons.
Thank you. I really appreciate your work in the museum, and I think it's a great initiative. I personally loved it. So everyone who ever visits Berlin, do visit the Anti-War Museum. Thank you.
That's very kind of
Thank you very much. I really like it. I mean, it's very informative, very educative, and I am an anti-war and peace-loving person.
Well, you're one of us.
I feel like home here. So
That's-
you're doing a great job.
That's nice to know, and that's interesting for us that people come here who are interested, and we don't have so many visitors as the big museums on the museums island in the center of Berlin. But on the other hand, we're a small museum, but we have a big mission.
Yes, and the message is powerful. Even though it's a small museum, but the message is extremely powerful.
Well, it's nice to know.
I think it should be propagated, and more people should know about it.
Yes, and but then on the other hand, we want to be able to speak with those visitors who come to us,
Yes.
and don't leave them alone, because they're very often left alone in museums. So we're not a states museum, more
very personal
a
interaction.
family museum.
Exactly.
And it would be kind if you could enter something into our guest's book. That's over there on the glass case.
We'll be doing that.
There you can enter something if you wish.
Definitely. Thank you very much.